On 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, Season 7, there were a seemingly endless amount of ugly confrontations between cast members, their partners, and their families. It got so bad that many fans now suspect that 90 Day Fiancé franchise fights are staged for the cameras. However, many viewers tune in to see the drama and conflict. Season 7 had more than enough messiness to satisfy the fandom's collective taste for chaos. Each storyline this season was fraught with explosive drama, and even the more subdued couples got into some nasty arguments. Sometimes their anger was justified, though often it wasn't. All of it made for many unforgettable 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After moments. The couples featured in Season 7 came from shows all across the franchise, but they had one thing in common, which was the fact that they all brought the drama. There were plenty of iconic fights this season that are sure to go down in 90 Day Fiancé franchise history. This season's blow-ups ran the gamut from relatively tame to absolutely shocking, and it's time to look at the standout altercations. 1. Julia's jealousy rears its ugly head. Julia Trubkina and Brandon Gibbs met up with 90 Day Fiancé star Brandon's friend Melanie at a brewery, and it was a bad idea from the start. Julia was frosty from the get-go because she's been upfront about her jealous side. Melanie was doubtful of Julia's motives for being with Brandon, and Julia couldn't see why Brandon would have friends who are women. Julia got increasingly annoyed throughout the night and eventually stormed off as Brandon questioned, "Why can't you just be normal?" 2. Angela's screaming match. Throughout the season, Angela Deem became more and more suspicious of what her husband Michael was up to in Nigeria while she was here in the U.S. After trying to illegally hack Michael Olasanmi's phone to track his whereabouts, she got into a screaming match with him in front of a very unfortunate retail worker. Angela shouted, "You're an ugly son of a b********* over and over again until Michael finally hung up. Fans have called out 90DF celeb Angela's abusive behavior before, and this is an argument that they point to as one of her worst. It was a major blow-up, but not as shocking as some of Angela's behavior later in the season. Point 3. Hookergate. If there's one word that sums up Happily Ever After, Season 7, it's hooker. Natalie Mordatsova alleged that Mike Youngquist's mom Trish Youngquist called her a hooker while they were in her kitchen, and that moment followed her the entire season. During an ITM interview, a fed-up Mike told Natalie to call his mom and ask her if she dropped the H-bomb. Trish denied it on the phone and chewed Natalie out for mistreating Mike. After Trish was off the phone, Mike continued attacking Natalie, revealing that Natalie gave away all the Christmas presents he got her. Natalie seemed shell-shocked most of the time and Mike eventually stormed off. Point 4. Pothist family boat trip. Early in the season, Elizabeth Castrovet's father Chuck Pothist gathered the family together for a boating outing and it was a total disaster. Libby's siblings had been drinking before Libby and Andre even showed up, and things escalated quickly. Charlie Pothist accused Andre of taking advantage of his father-in-law and Becky Lichtwerch called him a manipulator. She told Libby she was a delusional brat. The entire outing turned into a shoving match, and Libby threw her wine at her sister. It was a dramatic conflict. but not their worst of the season. 5. Angela's tell-all flash. During the HEA tell-all, Angela stunned fans by flashing the cameras during a virtual confrontation with her husband's Aunt Lydia. Angela's inability to have babies has always been a sticking point for Michael's family, and Aunt Lydia chided Angela over video. According to Aunt Lydia, Angela's job now is to have babies, rather than trying to look sexy. Angela became incensed and stormed around the set screaming. As if to prove a point, the 90 Day Fiancé franchise star flashed her new breasts. It was a shocking moment that will likely become a memorable one in the franchise. 6. Yara's strip club meltdown. During season 7, Jovi accused Yara of not being fun anymore after becoming a mom. So, on a trip to Miami, Yara agreed to go to a strip club with Jovi. Although she was amused at first, the strip club quickly got old for Yara, and she asked Jovi to leave. Yara didn't even say she wanted to go home, offering, "Let's do something else," but still Jovi wouldn't budge. After reaching her limit, Yara smacked Jovi and stormed out. Yara from 90 Day Fiancé has been criticized for getting physical with Jovi, but Yara did repeatedly ask Jovi to leave the club, and he refused. 7. Asuelu's family ruins Christmas. During Christmas, when Kalani Fagata and Asuelu Palaa's families were gathered, Asuelu gave Kalani a baby blanket as a symbol of his desire to have more kids. His mother and sister latched on to Kalani's desire to slow down their procreation process. Asuelu's mother insisted he should look for a new woman who does want to have lots of kids. Thankfully, Asuelu didn't stand for his relatives disrespecting his wife. He ended up having to physically remove them from his home. The scene ended with Kalani in tears, and it was one of the ugliest moments of the season. 8. Rumble by the pool. Pothist family brawl. The Pothist family drama really came to a head in the final episode of the season, when Chuck tried one last time to gather his family members together and bury their respective hatchets. The entire group was getting along just fine until Charlie came with his guns blazing. Almost immediately, he and Andre got into a physical brawl that entangled the entire family. It was a contentious and violent fight that was extremely excessive and unnecessary, and it turned out to be the worst blow-up of the season. On 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, Season 7, there were oodles of dramatic fights and confrontations, and though fans weren't always on board with what they were seeing on their screens, it was certainly a memorable season. There are always explosive arguments in the franchise, but these were some for the books.